Hi everyone, it's HailHeidi! We are watching a video about Australia today. I don't know if we've watched much about Australia yet, so I'm excited. We've watched some things on stream, but here, not so much. But this video is called 50 Things That Are Only Possible in Australia. Oh dear. I'm excited. This is from Brightside. So definitely go make sure to check out their content. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We react to all sorts of things here. It's getting bizarre, but definitely come see me on Twitch as well. Also learning a ton of interesting things over there too. So without further ado, let's do this. Let's go Australia.
Okay, it's pop quiz time. Which country has the longest fence in the world? How about the second largest Greek population? 3 times more sheep than people? Okay, one word will give it away. Kangaroos! Yeah, I'm talking about the land down under.
Kangaroos, got it.
So, what do you know about Australia?
We learned about the Emu Wars in like 1932 or something like that, where the humans went to war with the gigantic bird over in Australia. That was fun to learn about anyway. If you haven't looked that up, definitely do. Very fascinating and kind of sad at the same time, but just like so silly.
So let's start with the name. Australia comes from the Latin word australis, which means southern. Way back in the 2nd century, there were legends of a mysterious Terra Australis Incognita, or unknown southern land. Well, now it's very known. So let's get to know more about it. Despite the stereotypes of hot, sunny weather year-round, the Australian Alps, which are the highest mountain range in the country, get more snow than the Swiss Alps do. Better grab your skis. The world's longest national highway is in Australia. It stretches for over 9,000 miles. For comparison, the Earth's diameter is about 7,900 miles. It's actually a network of highways that connects all capitals of the mainland states. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the Great Wall of China, but what about the Great Fence of Australia? Okay, that's not what it's called, but still, the Dingo Fence in Southeast Australia stretches for nearly 3,500 miles.
I love it. It's called a dingo fence. The Dingo Fence, one of Australia's greatest, national sites. I love it. Wow, that's a long ways though.
For comparison, it would easily cover the entire span of the U.S., from Los Angeles to Houghton, Maine. Now, it might not be so surprising to know that Australia is huge. It's about the same size as the continental U.S., about 2,500 miles wide. The distance from the west to east coast is further than Barcelona to Moscow. In all, Australia is the world's 6th largest country and the only one that's also a whole continent.
Yeah, very interesting.
With all that territory, over 80% of Australians live within 60 miles of the coast. This makes the country one of the most coastal-dwelling populations in the world. And that means a whole lot of beaches. In fact, they have so many that if you decided to visit a new beach every day, it would take you almost 30 years to see them all.
Oh my gosh. Wait, what? Okay. 360. I need to know how many that is. Times 30. That means there's 10,950 beaches. Holy cow. How big are the beaches there? Dang. That's very interesting. Okay. Anyway.
The biggest property in Australia is about 40,000 square miles in area. South Korea could fit into it with room to spare. The country's termites are busy building huge properties as well. Their mounds are the tallest animal-made structures on this planet. Before humans arrived, the continent was home to megafauna. If you lived there about 46,000 years ago, you'd be dead today. But you would have seen 10-foot-tall kangaroos, 23-foot-long goanna lizards, and ducks the size of an adult horse. Quack, quack. The largest living structure on the planet is the Australian...
Okay, I know about some prehistoric, creatures, dinosaurs, things like that. I haven't heard of the kangaroo or like the giant kangaroo or the giant duck. That's interesting. I wish that I could see what that giant duck looked like. That is very fascinating to me.
and Great Barrier Reef. By the way, it has its own mailbox, and there's a rumor that the fish there use eel mail. Yeah. Neither kangaroos nor emus can walk backward. That's a fact. And that's why they're painted on the Australian coat of arms. Keep moving forward. The platypus, an egg-laying mammal that lives only in Australia, is one of the rare...
Wait a second, platypus is only in Australia? What? Oh. I wasn't aware of that. I feel like they were, you know, well, I thought that, I don't know, I didn't know that they were bound to one country. Fascinating. Well, no wonder. Australia has some of the most interesting creatures. Platypus is definitely one of those. Hi, so for some reason the recording stopped. I watched the entire rest of this video, but it was not recording. So let's watch the rest of it and I will tell you the parts I really liked. I have no idea how that happened. Anyway, let's continue.
The platypus, an egg-laying mammal that lives only in Australia, is one of the rare venomous mammals on this planet. Luckily, while the venom has an excruciatingly painful effect on people, it's not lethal. The takeaway? Don't fuss with a platypus.
No, do not.
By the way, when the first
Don't fuss with a platypus.
Platypus was brought to England, people there were sure that it was a joke. The English believed that Australians had sewn a duck's bill onto a rat's body to play a trick on them.
I feel like that's such a terrible prank. Like, I wonder if anyone got upset. It's just like, how dare you, you know, not manipulate, mutilate animals just for a trick, you know? It's like, what did they think was the, I don't know, I wonder how big of an issue that was, or how far that got. Wow. Because I feel like that would have been an interesting thing to be part of.
Yeah, right up until he bit them. Not laughing now, are you?
Whoops.
Swimming in the surf
Maybe it didn't last very long for that reason.
during the day had been illegal in Australia up until 1902. But after one guy calmly entered the waves of Manly Beach one afternoon that year, surf bathing became increasingly popular. The largest Greek population outside of Greece itself is in Australia. Actually, to be more precise, in Melbourne. More than 160,000 people who live there say they come from Greek descent. Melbourne was the richest city in the world in 1880. These days, Tokyo, Japan holds this title. And until 2018, Melbourne had been rated as the most livable city in the world for 7 years in a row.
Okay, this is something that confused me, and I probably should have looked it up from, you know, when the recording stopped to now. But I don't know exactly what they mean by most livable. It's probably a bunch of different categories combined, and they talk about a different category or a different measuring, I don't know how you'd say that. And they kind of explain what it means, but they didn't explain exactly what most livable means. It's most livable. Is it best place to live? Is it you live long? Like, what does that mean exactly? It's kind of a weird way of saying that, I feel. So I'll have to look that up. Or if you guys know, put it in the comments.
But then it was bumped down to second place after Vienna, Austria. Come on, Melbourne, get back in the game.
Most livable.
One of Melbourne's founders was John Batman. Yep, that was his real name. And get this, the city was temporarily called Batmania. Too bad they decided to change it to Robinville? Nah.
What did they change it to, though?
Australia ranked third after Norway and Switzerland on the Human Development Index. This index is based on education, life expectancy, and citizens' income. Basically, they got a good thing going down under there. In 2005, security guards at the Parliament House in Canberra were prohibited from calling people mate. But the ban only lasted for a day, mate. G'day.
So funny.
If you're ever in Western Australia, you can visit one of their many super salty pink lakes. They get the bubblegum hue from a certain type of algae and bacteria, and they're totally safe to swim in. Just be careful what you chew.
That was also something that confused me. I'm like, careful what you chew? How about don't chew anything in the lake? How's that one? I don't know. It's so funny. They're probably just trying to be funny. But I was like, why would you? What?
Oh, and be sure to take a selfie while you're swimming in what looks like a giant pool of Pepto-Bismol. You can thank Australia for coming up with the word selfie in the first place.
Changed the world. Amazing.
There are about 74 million sheep to 25 million people in Australia, which makes an impressive ratio of 3 to 1. Only China and India have more than that. Oh, and the kangaroo thing is totally true. There are twice as many kangaroos as there are people there. That's 50 to 25 million. Speaking of which, when a baby kangaroo is born, it's only half an inch long. It's also hairless and totally pink. Kind of looks like a gummy bear.
But they're just in the
What
little
else
pouch.
is there in Australia? Oh, that's right, koalas. And to top that, there are 10 times more camels than koalas. Australia is the source of a lot of the Middle East's camels.
See, that is something else that I was like, I would not have thought of Australia when I think of camels. That was not an animal that I thought was important to Australia. That was something new that I did not know at all.
Now,
cool.
in Western Australia, it's against the law to be in possession of more than 110 pounds of potatoes.
Why?
Well, every country has its obscure, bizarre laws. The architect of the world-famous Sydney Opera House got the idea of this unique construction while munching on an orange. If you combine all the sails of the building's roof, you'll get a perfect sphere. The most ancient fossils in the world were found in Australia. They were no less than 3.4 billion years old, even older than my leftovers in the fridge. There are so many different species in this country that only 25% of them have been discovered so far.
Okay, this was also something that I needed to talk about. I don't understand how we know that we've only discovered 25% of the species when we haven't discovered the other 75%. Like, how do we measure that? Is it we see something and we don't get to decide what species it is? Like, where does that statistic come from and how accurate is it? Because it doesn't make sense for us to know a percentage of something if we haven't discovered the other percentage yet. You know what I mean? Anyway, somebody explain this to me because that was very confusing.
Of the animals discovered to be native to Australia, none have hooves. Burger King miraculously turns into Hungry Jack's as soon as you land in Australia. It's the Aussie franchise of the famous fast food chain.
Do you guys like Hungry Jack's more than Burger King? Because I don't really like Burger King to begin with, so maybe they made a new and improved version, I hope.
Australia is a unique continent that doesn't house any active volcanoes. It's also the flattest continent on our planet. But it's got plenty of mountains, and one of them is called Mount Disappointment. It's just 2,600 feet tall, and naturally, explorers William Hovell and Hamilton Hume expected to see a great view from the top. However, after climbing the mountain, they discovered that there were too many trees growing on top and blocking the view completely. Guess how the men felt?
So that's how they decided to name it.
Australia has tons of unique flora and fauna species that you won't find anywhere else in the world. Among those are a staggering 1,500 spider species. Spider species.
Gross.
Yeah. On the bright side, and we are, while some of them are fatally poisonous, most are completely harmless. But how do I tell them apart?
They're still creepy.
Oh, the poisonous ones wear signs. Got it. It's also where you'll find...
I wish that was possible. But I did hear from some people in the comments on a previous video that usually the bigger the spider, the less harmful it is. And usually it's the tiny ones, the small ones that you have to look out for. So basically, I'm just effed. I'm just not going to like any spiders there because I don't want them to be big. That's terrifying to me. And then the small ones I'm going to be scared of because they're venomous or poisonous. So love that. Love that.
21 of the world's top 25 most venomous snakes. More than 90% of Australia is covered with some kind of vegetation. Since 1988,
that was something too that we kind of like glossed over. They said 21 out of 25 of the most Did they say venomous or poisonous? Hold on. Snakes are in Australia.
Oh, the poisonous ones were signs.
Crazy.
Got it. It's also where you'll find 21 of the world's top 25 most venomous snakes.
Venomous.
More than 90% of Australia is covered with some kind of vegetation. Since 1988, Australia has had a national floral emblem, and it's the golden wattle.
So cute.
When this plant blooms, it gets covered with the country's national colors, green and gold. Australia is a multinational country with more than 200 different languages and dialects spoken there. The most popular non-English languages are Mandarin, Greek, Arabic, Vietnamese, and Cantonese.
Pretty cool.
There are 19 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Australia, including 12 natural sites, 3 cultural sites, and 4 mixed sites.
Yeah, the mix.
The difference between Australia's total length and its width is only 200 miles.
It's so interesting because I feel like it looks like it's way wider. I feel like it looks so much wider than it is tall. So it's interesting. I was surprised when it was only 200 miles. 200 miles is still a lot, but I was kind of really surprised by that.
Hey, do you have an 8-hour working day? You can thank Australian stonemasons for that. In 1865, they demanded to make 8-hour shifts the standard, and it spread throughout the world from there. With 8 people per square mile, Australia has an extremely low population density. For comparison, there are about 93 people per square mile in the U.S. The National Australia...
Did they say the population of Australia? I'm trying to... Did they say that there were 25 million? Anyway, I don't remember them saying the exact, or, the population of all of Australia. They just mentioned the population in the U.S. But tell me if I missed it. Maybe I missed it, but I wish that they would tell both so that we could compare.
Australian airline Qantas uses recycled cooking oil to power its interstate flights. So, have I missed any cool facts about Australia? Let me know down in the comments. If you learned something new today, then give this video a like and share it with a friend. But hey,
yes.
Don't go waltzing Matilda just yet. We have over 2,000 cool videos for you to check out.
Yes, they seem really interesting. Bright side. I think that we maybe reacted to one of their other videos before. So let me know if, first of all, you thought that it was accurate. Let me know if you're from Australia or things like that. If there was anything that didn't quite come across correct. And then, yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think about the video, and please answer my questions. Because I'm not going to remember exactly which questions I even asked during this video. So, but otherwise, thank you so much for watching today. I'm sorry that it got a little bit jumbled in there. It might have been a little, I don't know. I like to react to things blindly. And so because I've already seen most of this video because it just wasn't recording, hopefully it's still good. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.